there anybody there? You can ask me a question, you know. I'm wearing a tie tonight, in case you haven't noticed. I'm putting on my top hat. Is there anybody there? Safety zone, eh? That's what we need. That'll be lucky. Don't you think? Once upon a time, a long time ago, in a little town, there's a famous seaside place called Blackpool that's noted for fresh air and fun. And Mr. and Mrs. Ramsbottom went there with young Albert, their son. They didn't think much of the ocean, the waves, they was piddling and small. Now as I was young and easy, under the apple boughs, I'll have a little poem, seeing as there's only me and thee, and there'll only be thee. This is by Wilfred Owen. It's called The Way, Anthem for Doomed Youth. What passing bells for those who die as cattle? Only the monstrous anger of the guns, only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle can patter out their hasty horizons. No mockeries now for them, no prayers, no bells, nor any voice of mourning save the choirs, the shrill demented choirs of wailing shells, and the bugles calling for them from sad shires. What candles may be held to speed them all, not in the hands of boys, but in their eyes shall shine the holy glimmers of goodbyes, the pallor of girls' brows shall be their pall, their flowers the tenderness of patient minds, and each slow dusk a drawing down of blinds. When I am an old woman I shall wear purple, with a red hat which doesn't go and doesn't suit me, and I shall spend all my pension on brandy and summer gloves, and satin sandals, and say we've no money for butter. I shall sit down on the pavement when I'm tired, and gobble up samples in shops and press alarm bells, and run my stick along the public railings, and make up for the sobriety of my youth. I shall go out in my slippers in the rain, and pick the flowers in other people's gardens, and learn to spit. You can wear terrible shirts and grow more fat, and eat 3 pounds of sausages at a go, or only bread and pickle for a week, and hoard pens and pencils and beer mats and things in boxes. But now we must have clothes that keep us dry, and pay our rent, and not swear in the street, and set good examples for the children. We must have friends to dinner, and read the papers. But maybe I ought to practice a little now, so people who know me are not too shocked and surprised when suddenly I'm old and start to wear purple. Addlestrop by Edward Thomas. Yes, I remember Addlestrop, the name, because one afternoon of heat the express train drew up there unwontedly. It was late June. The steam hissed. Someone cleared his throat. No one left and no one came on that bare platform. What I saw was Addlestrop, only the name, and willows, willow herb, and grass, and meadows sweet and haycocks dry, nor whit less still and lonely fair than the high cloudlets in the sky. And for that minute a blackbird sang close by, and around him, mistier farther and farther, all the birds of Oxfordshire and Gloucestershire. Addlestrop by Edward Thomas. The Highwayman by Alfred Noyes. The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees, the moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. The road was a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, and the highwayman came riding, riding, riding. The highwayman came riding up to the old inn door. He'd a French cocked hat on his forehead, a bunch of lace at his chin, a coat of claret velvet, and breeches of brown doe skin. They fitted with never a wrinkle, his boots were up to the thigh, and he rode with a jewelled twinkle, his pistol butts a twinkle, his rapier hilt a twinkle, under the jewelled sky. Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed. You notice there there's a lot of alliteration in the poem by Alfred Noyes. Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed, round the rocks the ragged rabbit ran. You get the idea, it's alliteration. It's a way of leading in to the poem. And seeing, as it was a late January night, the fog curled itself around my beard, slipped into the silence of the room, and went to sleep. Yes, thank you, Lois. I need perhaps if I spoke over the top of the microphone, that would be better. Is that any better? Just talking about alliteration there. Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed up to the old inn door. That's better, is it? Alright, I understand, yeah. So I'm now speaking over the top. You're not actually registering. I don't know why it's not registering. Try and write me something in the chat box, if you will. Can you see the chat box there? Alright, I understand, yeah. you can have a treat. I'll read you Robert Frost, seeing as we're here, and Robert Frost being an American, and we'll have no popping here. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveller. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere, ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. It is a poem about regret. You know, people say, the road not taken, but it's a road not taken. That's the clue to it all. It was not taken, and the poem is about regret. The chat box is on the right, yeah, on the right of the screen as you look at it. I'm not sure why you can't see it. Can you see it? Don't know why. Live dashboard. What does that mean? Click that. Well, it doesn't tell me a great deal. I've just clicked on that. Go back to that. Yep. No, it's not there, is it not? Oh well. Not sure why. Perhaps it's because you've got to be signed into the channel. Perhaps you've got to subscribe to the channel to get the chat box. Anyway, I've done enough of testing this tonight, Lois, so I'm going to, and we haven't attracted any customers tonight, so I'm going to call it a day and get on with my more productive work, because I have a queue of people waiting to speak to me who want to pay me money. In fact, people who have paid me money to speak to me. So I will bid you adieu, and we'll speak tomorrow. I'm glad you like young Aaron, and as you can see, that's why he calls me Baldy. I'll have to have him on about that. Yeah, I wonder what's happened to my hair. Anyway, we'll speak tomorrow, Lois. I'm going to go now because I've got things to do. Alright? Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Alright for you, isn't it? You've got a nice crop of hair. Yeah, you and KB. Very hairy people. Good night.